Hello and welcome to Tuesday Night Foster Talk with Dr. John. It's live right here. We do it every single Tuesday night. I'm your host, Dr. John DeGarmo, director, founder of the Foster Care Institute, foster parent myself of 60 plus children. I'm so glad that you're here with us tonight. You know, we've been doing this for quite a while. We took a big break about 6 months ago. We started in COVID, and then we took a break, and now we're back. And we've been back about a month now, and we're now getting back in the swing of things. I'm so glad you are here. What we do is we come together right now, the next 30 minutes from 8 to 8:30 p.m. Eastern Time. New time, we've been doing 7. Now it's 8 to 8:30 because you requested it. Live to answer your questions, your foster care questions, adoption questions, kinship questions, parenting questions. Think of it as your live support group. I just had somebody ask me earlier this week, Dr. John, are foster parent associations good? They absolutely are. You know, what we do as foster parents is a very unique lifestyle. It is something that our friends, our family members, those closest to us, hey, they'll never really truly understand what we do because they don't live it. You know, when we come back from work at the end of the day and we have children in our home who are suffering from anxieties, who are suffering from trauma, who are suffering from anger management, reactive attachment disorder, eating disorders, sleep anxieties, whatever it might be, when we come back home, it can be exhausting, physically exhausting, emotionally exhausting. Um, it's hard, right? It is hard. So what we do is we come together to help each other. We surround each other with people who have gone through the same thing we have and help each other out. So there are three rules. Three rules. First of all, rule number one is this. Go ahead and like this post, like this, write this right now, like this here, and ask any question you want. Parenting, kinship, adoption, um, foster parenting. You want to talk about me? You want to ask about my questions as a foster parent to 60 plus kids? Anything you want to ask, no questions off limits. We're going to answer them right here in the next 30 minutes. Hopefully, we're going to get your question in. I'm an open book. You can ask me a thing as well. Hey, I want to say hello to Cheyenne. Hello, Cheyenne. I see that Dylan is here tonight, and Michelle is here. Hey, Michelle, glad you're here. And Emma, hey Emma, glad you're here as well. So get those fingers flying, whatever you want to ask. We're here to answer your questions live. Rule number 2, tag a friend. If you know a foster parent yourself who might need some help, tag them and invite them to, hey Thomas, I'm so glad you're here tonight. Invite them to join us as well because we would love to be able to help them too. Rule number 3, my favorite rule. If somebody asks a question tonight, if somebody makes a statement, you think, hey Dr. John, wait a minute. I've been there, I've done that, I can answer that question. We want to hear from you. We want to hear from you. We want to hear how you handled it. What did you do during that situation? Okay, so let us know your thoughts because we're going to learn from you. I'm off to Alabama next week. I got 2 big events. I'll be speaking at a foster care event for foster parents in Kansas, Nebraska, Oklahoma, and Texas. That's Tuesday night. And then next Saturday, I'll be going to Alabama keynoting at a conference. One of the things I love most about these events is I get to surround myself with foster parents just like you. Sure, I've written all the books, those best-selling books you might have on your shelf. I've done all the training, got my doctorate, did a TED Talk, but I love to learn from other people like you. So I'm looking forward to learning from you tonight. Cheyenne asks this: how likely is it for my foster sons, who I took kinship, great grandma, to get custody of him who lives in another state? He has medical conditions. Let me see this, if I get this correctly here. So Cheyenne, are you the great grandmother? Are you the great grandmother? Give me a little bit more detail there. I'm a little bit unsure of your question. Okay, how likely is it for my foster sons, who I took kinship, or the great grandmothers? Are you asking if the great grandmother can get custody? Um, yeah, give me a little bit more insight. Tell me about the medical conditions. Just type a little bit more in there if you would, please. Hey, Stacy, I'm so glad you're here with us tonight. Just give me a little bit more there, okay? I want to answer that question. Thomas says, feeling pressure by your agency and taking a referral you don't feel is right. Well, Thomas, it's okay to say no as a foster parent. Now, listen, I've had 60 plus kids. I've had as many as 11 in my house at the same time. I have a hard time, Thomas, sometimes saying no. At the same time, I recognize that sometimes we do need to say no. We do need to say no to a placement. Because quite simply, Thomas, I am not the perfect placement for every single child that's in the foster care system. And no offense, Thomas, but you're not the perfect placement for every single child in foster care. You have some strengths. You might be great at babies, or maybe great at sibling groups. Maybe you're great with teenagers. We all have our strengths. At the same time, we all have our weaknesses. I know that I'm not good in some certain areas. So we have to ask ourselves a few questions, Thomas. When I get that phone call, Thomas, I have to ask myself, I have to ask myself a couple questions. Is this placement a good fit for my family? Is my family a good fit for this child? Can I provide the resources and support services this child needs at this time? And if there's no to any of those questions, then the answer to the agency is no, not at this time. Because if I say no to a placement, that means that another family is going to be able to say yes to that placement, most likely a better placement. Because there may be times when we can't provide the resources or support services that child needs. And that's unfair to the child. That's unfair to the agency. That's unfair to you. That's unfair to your family. That's unfair to the entire community. There are also times we need to say no because maybe we're just exhausted. Hey, Elena, maybe we're just exhausted, worn out. Maybe our family needs to take a little bit of a break. Maybe we need to put a bit more focus on our biological children or our marriage, our partner, our spouse, whatever it might be. So if you're feeling pressured by your agency, you might want to let your agency say this. Hey, you know what? I just don't feel this is the right placement at this time. I don't think that we can provide the support services this child needs. I don't think our family is a good fit for that child. I don't think the child's a good fit for our family. And maybe you want to give some examples. You should never feel guilty about that, Thomas, okay? You should not feel guilty about that. At the same time, you also shouldn't feel pressured. If you're feeling pressured, just let them know, hey, you know what? I just don't think this is a good placement at this time. Thomas, I wrote an article recently. It's called saying, if you do a quick search online, saying no to a placement, foster care, Dr. John DeGarmo, that article should come up, okay? Really appreciate you asking, Thomas, and I hope that helped to answer your question there. Elena reminds us to document. Thank you for that, Elena. I really appreciate that. Okay, going back here to, I see that I'm going to go back to the earlier question that, who was it? Who had that question? All right, Cheyenne says, I'm a family friend, took kinship of a 2-year-old with medical conditions, and yes, I am a great grandma. So you're asking if you're asking foster son's great grandma. Well, you know, let's put this way, Cheyenne. I'm still a little unclear of your question, but let me say this to you. If a child has relatives in another state, well, if you're kinship, Cheyenne, if you're a family friend, okay, so Cheyenne, are you the family friend? Well, blood relatives, kinship take priority, okay, even if it's in another state. But that doesn't necessarily mean that the child's going to go there, okay? I would need a little bit more information, Cheyenne, from you. But know this. Many times it's difficult for a child to go across state borders. If there is a great-grandmother who is willing to take the child, then there'll be a background check, a home inspection, that kind of thing. They'll have to go through the process through the foster care agency as well as the other state's agency. And if they feel it's a good fit, then the child very well could go there. Is that always the right thing? No, it is not always the right thing. But that's sometimes how the system works. Elena, you got a question about the book? Just shoot me an email, Elena. If you talk to me on email, on Facebook, I'm probably not going to remember, Elena. So what I'm going to ask you to do is just send me an email, Elena, and we can help you out. All right, Renee. Hey, Renee, so glad you're here with us tonight. Oh, let's see. Thomas says thank you. It does. Oh, glad to hear that, Thomas. So glad you're here. Glad to hear that. All right, listen, Thomas, Elena, Renee, Cheyenne. If you don't get the Foster Care Institute newsletter, type in I want newsletter, put your email address. I want newsletter, put your email address. We'll make sure you get this week's foster care news, the tip of the week, the 101 video of the week, brand new webinar. Brand new webinar came out yesterday. Fetal Alcohol Spectrum Disorder Part 1. This is our 68th training webinar. And all this and so much more, type an I want newsletter, put your email address. We'll get it to you tomorrow, okay? All right, Renee, glad you're here tonight, Renee. Thank you for being here, and thank you for asking a question. Renee says this: we took in a pre-adoptive placement, 4-year-old, a year ago. She was 1 when she was removed and spent 2 years in a prior foster home. After 2 years of no contact order, mom got a no contact order lifted and has been having supervised visit with father about 9 months. At a PPC last week, the track was changed from adoption to reunification. However, we've still been given no timeline for reunification. Very normal, Renee, very normal. We've only been told that it will be many months. That's kind of normal. There's not even discussion of increasing visitation at this point. I know mom needs to find housing, and that could take a while. I'm just wondering if there's any limit to the time they'll give mom to work her plan, given the fact that foster daughter has already been in the system 3 years. Thanks. You know, Renee, sometimes the system just does not work. If you read my book, Fostering Love, the best-selling book, or the book Love and Mayhem, the best-selling sequel, or the book Faith in Foster Care, you know I've had 4 failed adoptions, which means I've had 3 adoptions that are successful, 4 failed ones, which means for some reason the adoption did not work out. Kind of based upon what you're saying right there, Renee. I've been there, so to speak. Yes, reunification is always the ultimate end goal of foster care. 50% of children in foster care are reunified. Sadly, though, Renee, 20 to 30% of those children who are reunified come back into care far more traumatized, filled with far more anxiety, or even die. This is why I went to Washington, D.C. Recently with my good friend, celebrity actress Jen Lilly. Because of this, reunification does not always work, but it is the priority. So you're asking, will there be a timeline? You know, Renee, it's awfully hard to say. Every agency does it differently. Devana will get you that newsletter. Thank you. Cheyenne will get you the newsletter. Thank you. Renee, every agency does it differently. Every judge has a different opinion on it, a different outlook on it. I would say most likely they're going to continue to keep mom on the reunification timeline, the reunification track, if you will. Again, is it the right thing? It's hard for me to say. I don't know the particulars. I will say sometimes it's not always the best choice. Being in foster care for 3 years is a very, very long time. In fact, it's too long of a time, especially if she's 3 years of age, which means her entire life has been in foster care. And for me, it hurts me. I grieve for that child because the child has been, it's just not right. And I can imagine the issues of attachment and trust she has already. Tremendous trauma has been placed upon her because of that. And this is certainly not helping her, Renee. I really understand. Renee, if you want to have a one-on-one counseling session with me about that, I'd be happy to have that. Just shoot me an email at drjohndegarmo@gmail.com, or look me online at the Foster Care Institute and fill a contact form, and I'll be happy to have a one-on-one counseling session with you, talk to you about it more. But Renee, it's not right. Let's just tell you that. The poor girl. All right, Devon, yeah, we'll get that newsletter to you. All right, this is Foster Talk with Dr. John. I'm your host, Dr. John DeGarmo. We're answering your questions here for the next 15 minutes. We do it every Tuesday night right here, live, 8 to 8:30. Been a foster parent myself to 60 plus children. I have adopted 3. And how many kids do you think I've had in my house at the same time? My friend, that's not 2. That is 11. That's right. You heard it correctly. I've had as many as 11 kids in my house at the same time. And there have been times where I've had a difficult time as a foster parent. There have been times where I've wanted to quit. There have been times where I've questioned the system. There have been times my heart has ached. At the same time, it's been the most rewarding thing I've ever done. Yep, Jason, that's right. 11. Have you had 11 as well, Jason? Jason, we'll get that newsletter to you. Thank you for asking. All right, going back to Cheyenne. Cheyenne, you are a family friend. Okay, well, Cheyenne, that means the grandmother will most likely take precedent over you. Okay, the great-grandmother will take precedent. How likely will she get custody of him? It depends on so many things, Cheyenne. It really depends upon a number of things. I'd have to know more about it. But again, it's really based upon the judge's decision. And every judge has a different outlook on that. Some judges are more pre-unification. Some judges are more, we must keep this child in a safe, the best environment for the child. And sometimes the best environment is not with the birth parents or the biological family members. Sometimes the best environment is for that foster family that's been caring for that child for a long time. Appreciate you asking that, Cheyenne. Again, if you want to find out more, just let me know. and we can schedule a one-on-one counseling session with you. Hey, really appreciate your questions here. We got another 15 more minutes. I want to answer your questions here. A number of you have said something about my pinball machine in the back. Yes, I was playing it earlier today. I love my pinball. A little bit of therapy for me, if you will. Listen, if you are in Alabama, I'm going to be in Alabama next Saturday at a special event, delivering a keynote event and a couple training sessions. So if you're in Alabama, I hope to see you there next Saturday afternoon, June the 4th. I'm also doing a live presentation next Tuesday night with foster parents in Texas, Kansas, Nebraska, and Oklahoma. And if you're one of those states, I want to see you there. Okay. Okay. You're welcome, Shine. My pleasure. So get those fingers flying. What questions do you have tonight? What are you really struggling with tonight? What's the number one thing you're saying, Dr. John, I just need help with this? Let me know and we'll answer your question. Thomas says, what are your thoughts on kids available for adoption? Well, Thomas, I've adopted 3. Our state has a couple of websites that have kids with parental rights terminated and are available for adoption. We reached out about a child we are interested in. Our agency worker seems that she was trying to talk us out of it because the kids that are available for adoption have a lot of issues, and that's why they haven't been adopted yet. The kid we're looking at adopting is 12. You know what, Thomas? There is a reason why, sadly, they haven't been adopted, and that breaks my heart. But I'm pro-adoption. Now, Thomas, is important to know this. Just because an adoption takes place does not mean it's a happy ending ever after. One of our premier webinars, training webinars right here, Thomas, at the Foster Care Institute, one you might want to look at is post-adoption depression syndrome. Post-adoption depression syndrome, PADS. And that's for the adoptive parents like you. Thomas, did you know this? 65%, that's right, 65%, Thomas, of adoptive parents experience post-adoption depression syndrome for a number of reasons, okay? If a child is 12 years of age, know this, Thomas, that if you do choose to go forward with an adoption, and God bless you if you do, there will be challenges. That child is going to have, well, he's entering into his teenage years, so that's a whole mix of emotions there. Adoption is also a loss. And remember, I've adopted 3. If you read my best-selling book, Faith in Foster Care, or the Foster Care Survival Guide, or my book, Fostering Love, One Foster Parent's Journey, or many of my books, then you know about our adoption process that we've had. Some challenges, to be sure. Adoption is a time of loss. Even though it's a time of, forever family and unconditional love, it's also a time of loss for that child. He could come from the most heinous, abusive environment at the end of the day, and you can provide the most wonderful, loving, stable home with wonderful opportunities. At the end of the day, it's still a time of loss for him, a loss of his identity, a loss of his original family. Okay, so there will be those challenges during that time. Um, and it's a time of trust, learning how to trust each other, learning to adapt in the family, many issues. Thomas, I'm going to encourage you to watch, before you go any further in this process, watch the training webinar, Post-Adoption Depression Syndrome. It talks about the possibility, again, 65% of adoptive parents experience it. Talk about what you might be experiencing with this adoption. Keep me posted, Thomas, on it. Again, I'm very much adoption. I've adopted 3, but I want you to recognize that it's not always a happy ending, okay? Appreciate you asking. Thank you so much. Jason, we're going to get you that newsletter. Hey, if you want the newsletter, the Foster Care Institute newsletter, type in I want newsletter, put your email address. I want newsletter, put your email address. We'll make sure you get that newsletter tomorrow. I want to say hello to Carmen. I see that Carmen is here tonight, and I see that Glenda's here tonight. Stacy's here. Hey, Stacy, so glad you're here with us tonight. Sarah's here too. Glad you're here with us tonight, Sarah. This is Foster Talk with Dr. John. We're going to answer your questions about 10 more minutes. We're doing it live right here on this Facebook page, the Foster Parent Help and Support page. We do it every Tuesday night, right here, 8 to 8:30. And we are taking your questions live. Whatever you need help with, whatever you're struggling with right now, we want to make sure that you get the help. Think of this as your personal foster parent support group, because when you go to work tomorrow, your friends and family members, they might think they understand what you do as a foster parent, but they really don't. Your family members, those people closest to you, the people you go to church with, your neighbors, they might think they understand what you do as a foster parent. At the end of the day, they really don't. Foster parenting is a very unique lifestyle. The only person that really understands what you do is another foster parent. Okay, so that's why what we do here on Tuesday nights is so important. We come together, we answer the questions for each other. Sorry, getting the screen a little bit different there. We support each other. We surround each other with the support services. We help to answer questions that you're struggling with. And remember, no question's a dumb question. Thomas will get that newsletter to you tomorrow. Look for it. Thank you so much for asking about it. Again, the foster care and student newsletter's got so much more. Those of you who are special members, we have over 11,000 special members who get unlimited access to over 65 hours of online training webinars, 15 free ebooks, printable certificates, CEUs that keep you licensed. Those of you who are members, our brand new webinar came out yesterday, number 68. That is Fetal Alcohol Spectrum Disorder, FADS, Part 1. If you've seen it, I'd love to hear what you think about it. So just put in a little thoughts there. What did you think about this brand new webinar? All right. Love to hear from you. Okay, somebody earlier asked me today about when a child going home. What do you do to help a child prepare when they go home? I think Melissa asked this question earlier today. Melissa, so I'm going to answer your question, Melissa. How do you help a child prepare to go home? Well, Melissa, there's a number of things you can do. First of all, you need to support that child. Whatever emotions you might be having, if it's a time of heartbreak or grief for you, and it very well could be, you still need to be supportive of that child. First of all, make sure that child's got a brand new suitcase, okay? Not a trash bag, no trash bags, a brand new suitcase. Help that child to pack. You know, one of the things that we do is we get an 8x10 picture of the family with our phone numbers, address, names, and back of it if they ever need to contact us afterwards. And if you saw my TED Talk, you know exactly why we do that. If you haven't seen my TED Talk, please check it out. Make sure everything's washed and clean. You might want to consider some pre-addressed self-stamped envelopes that they can write letters and send them back to you. Make sure they have your contact information. You know, if the reunification is something that's planned maybe a couple months away, you can do a couple weekends visits just to help ease the child in transition. And when the child has left, make sure you keep contacting the child if possible. That way they know that somebody truly did love them, that they truly do have somebody that cares for them out there. And who knows? Child might have to come back into care again, and you will be there for them. Melissa, I really appreciate you asking that question. Hope it helps. It's hard. It really is hard when a child does leave her home, but sometimes it can be a wonderful reunification story. All right, this is Foster Talk with Dr. John. I'm your host, Dr. John DeGarmo, founder and director of the Foster Care Institute, foster care expert, and author of so many books. And tonight, I'm so happy that you're here with us tonight. We've had some great questions, and we have 5 more minutes left. I want to make sure we get your question. What are you struggling with tonight right now? What do you need help with? What do you need help with? Don't feel embarrassed about it. We want to make sure foster parenting is hard. It is the hardest. Listen to me. It's the hardest thing I've ever done. And I got a doctorate in it. And I wrote 11 books on it. And I give conferences across the globe on it. It is the hardest thing I've ever done. At the same time, it is the most rewarding thing I've ever done. Have I felt like quitting times? Yes. Have I had my heart break? Yes. Have I been disappointed or frustrated with the agency? Yes. Have I been disappointed with the caseworkers and agencies? Yes. And the decisions? Yes. At the same time, I recognize how hard caseworkers work. They're underpaid, understaffed, undersupported, overworked, overwhelmed. And every child that's coming to my house is maybe a better person. Give me an amen if you've ever felt the same way. Give me an amen or yes, sir, if it's been hard for you. Or give me an amen or yes, sir, if it's a rewarding thing for you that you love what you do. All right, Dr. John with Foster Talk with Dr. John. Devona's here. Hey, Devona, so glad you're here with us tonight. I hope I pronounced that correctly, or Devona, maybe. We want to make sure we get your questions and get those fingers flying. Maybe we can squeeze your question in real fast before we get out of here tonight. I want to make sure we are able to answer your questions live right here. This is what we do. Again, this is your foster parent support group. This is your foster parent advice group. This is where fellow foster parents come together with no criticism. This is your safe space, right? This is your safe space as a foster parent, as an adoptive parent, as a kinship parent, where you can come and get the help that you need, because it is hard, isn't it? Amen. Jason says amen. Absolutely. Um, it's all new for me. Well, Devonna, tell us what you're struggling with there, Devonna. What do you need help with? What's new? Um, Audrey says single mom of a young adult and teenager not looking to adopt at all. Hey, well, thank you for being here, Audrey. Thank you for being here. Hopefully, it's hard. It's hard. Okay, let's see. Who other questions do we have here tonight? Um, let's see if we can get a couple more questions in here right now before we go. I see a whole bunch of questions are coming up here. Debbie says, we are foster only. We are grandpa, grandma, and papa. We're here to keep kids safe and loved until their placement is found, whether that's bio or adoptive. Well, thank you for doing that. Really appreciate that. Devana says, we've just started the training process. Well, good for you, Devana. Good for you. What state are you in, Devana? And know this. Get ready for wild adventure and emotional roller coaster. Um, the hardest, most rewarding thing you're ever going to do. It's going to be fantastic. There's going to be times you can question the system. Devana, do me a favor. Do two things right now. Type in I want newsletter. Put your email address, Devana, so we can make sure you get the newsletter. In Virginia. I was in Virginia recently, speaking at an event there. Great state. And Devana, you might want to pick up the following books: The Foster Parenting Manual, The Foster Care Survival Guide, Fostering Loved One Foster Parents Journey. If you are a person of faith, Devana, make sure you get the book Faith and Foster Care. You can get all those books personally signed by me, Devana, at the Foster Care Institute. Type in Foster Care Institute and you can get those books. Those are probably the books you're going to need. Now, here's Devana. Here's the truth. I went through the training just like you. I already had 3 children. Our first child died, Devana. If you know my story from some of my books or some of my training, and I went through the training like you. My wife and I both went to college. She had a degree in psychology. I was a teacher. We thought we were ready, Devana, and we recognized within the first 20 minutes of our placement that we were not ready. Our training did not prepare us adequately, which happens to most foster parents. That's why, Devana, I started writing all those books to prepare people like you. So check out some of those books. I think you're going to find them very, very helpful. Thomas says, how hard should a foster parent advocate for their placement? Very hard, Thomas, very hard. Our foster daughter has been referred for a neuro consult to see if she's in the spectrum, but every time we ask about the paperwork for the referral, our response is they are working on it. Keep asking. Keep asking, Thomas. You are the advocate. You might be the only advocate that child has. Thomas, it is vital. If you read some of my books, Thomas, if you read my book, Fostering Love, One Foster Parent's Journey, then you know that I fight like a mama bear. I fight and fight and fight for these children. That's why I did a TED Talk on it, right? That's why I did a TED Talk. I keep on fighting. Renee will get that newsletter to you. Thank you so much. Yes, you need to fight for all that you have because you don't want to look back and say, you know what? What if I fought a little bit harder? So you're the best advocate that child can have. So Thomas, I appreciate it. I'm glad you're there for that child. Hey Adair, so glad you're here this tonight. Listen, I want to be able to squeeze in 1 or 2 more questions tonight because we're doing great. We're rolling here. Really appreciate you being here. So if you want to squeeze in real fast, maybe one more question, we want to make sure we answer. And this is Foster Talk with Dr. John. I'm your host, Dr. John DeGarmo, founder and director of the Foster Care Institute. Foster parent myself to 60 plus children. And if you're curious about why I became a foster parent, check out the book Fostering Love, One Foster Parent's Journey, or just go to my website, the Foster Care Institute. And you'll find out a lot more. A lot of resources there for you as well. Hey, I was on a podcast recently called the Graybeard Chronicles. The Graybeard Chronicles podcast. It was a great podcast. Really enjoyed it. We talked a lot about foster parenting, about some of the challenges that foster parenting experienced during COVID. So check that one out there too. Okay, can we squeeze in one more question here? Let's see if we can, because we're just about out of time. Hey, Kayla, so glad you're here tonight, Kayla. Welcome to Foster Talk with Dr. John. And Devana says, sorry, well, probably about my loss, my child. Devana, thank you so much. Probably what led me to become a foster parent. Listen, we've had some fantastic questions tonight. Really appreciate all of you being here. I love it. I love being with people like you. Hey, Carmen, so glad you're here. And I see that April is here tonight, too. Jason says, where do we find counseling for foster parents? Right here, Jason. Right here. I am a foster parent counselor. In fact, I'm going to send you a link to it right now to my website, Jason. Okay, I'm sending you a link to my website. Actually, let me go to the right page. Let me go to the page about the foster parent. It's called a foster parent coach. Okay, so I'm a foster parent coach slash consultant. I work with foster parents all the time. So if you're interested in me being your personal consultant, we would meet one on one. We do it online, live, virtual. Um, there you go, Jason. I just sent you information about it. If you're interested, let me know, and we can schedule a session maybe next couple of days. My calendar is very full coming up. Again, I'll be doing a conference in Texas and Kansas and Alabama and Oklahoma and Alabama all next week. I'm also doing a couple of radio podcast shows as well. But I'd be happy to carve out time for you, Jason. If you're interested in doing that, let me know, and we can certainly make that happen. Okay. Let's see. We have one more question here tonight. Let's see if we have one more question here. We can make sure we can get you on there. Okay, it looks to be it. All right. Hey, so glad you're here tonight. Thank you so much for spending part of your Tuesday night. I hope you found this time frame a little bit better. We had been doing it 7 to 7:30 for a very long time. But so many of you said, Dr. John, my kids are still going to bed. I need to do it a little bit later. So I listened to you. So I hope you found this time frame better. We're going to do it every Tuesday night right here live, even when I'm on vacation. I'll be on vacation in 2 weeks, and I'm still going to come right here to join you because I love when we're able to come together and support each other. We are the support system. We are the help that we need. There are times when we as foster parents say, this is so hard. I'm just so tired. I'm exhausted. I'm frustrated. I'm angry at the system. I'm struggling with birth parents. I'm struggling with my biological children are struggling. My family is struggling. I don't agree with the decision of the court. I'm having a hard time with the adoption. Whatever it might be. Whatever it might be. As foster parents, we need help. And that's why we come together. Jason, my pleasure. Hey, everyone. Hey, Mary Alice. Glad you're here. Giggle says, sorry I'm late. Well, I'm glad you joined us. We had a great session tonight, guys. I'm going to sign off in 1 minute. If you can give us one more question, we will make sure that we answer it. I can hear my kids upstairs are very active, probably ready for me to get up there and get them to bed. All right. Okay, I think that's it for tonight. Hey, this is Dr. John for the Foster Care Institute for Foster Talk with Dr. John, our live question and answer session. I'm Dr. John DeGarmo. We'll see you next Tuesday night. Remember, you want the newsletter, type in I want newsletter, put your email address. For much more, visit the Foster Care Institute, all the great books there, and of course, sign up to get unlimited access to over 65 hours of online training webinars. You need licensing hours? You need to stay licensed? Make sure you do it with us. 65 hours, 15 free ebooks. You want more information about it? Let us know. For Foster Talk with Dr. John, I'm Dr. John DeGarmo. Have a great rest of the week. Thanks for joining us.